This is me. I struggle to put a headphone on.
Action.
Oh, they're off. My IT support crew are buggering off now. My name is Pook, and I am with Bobble and Jake from Roshambo, and this is the first ever Pookcast.
Hell's fucking yeah! That's how you started. Do you want to harmonise a Pook? Pook.
Oh, right. Okay, that is the podcast music done.
Yes.
Would it be Pookout Cast or Pookcast?
So we do a harmony for Pook. It'd be Pookcast for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pookout Cast.
Shabba. One of the stories I did remember was, do you remember? Oh, where was it? It was where Phoenix Nights was.
Oh,
Fuck,
yeah, the snooker club.
The snooker club.
Yeah, Gambero.
Jesus.
The one story that I can remember all three of us were involved was we were staying in that snooker club. Perry had passed out underneath a snooker cue table on this minging carpet floor. I think it was urine infested as well. I think he may have pissed himself.
Yeah, that was a regular occurrence.
And then, like just lying there farting and just wishing everyone all the best in his sleep. And then all I can remember is I was all trying to sleep. Bobble got his mittens on a freaking acoustic guitar and played Real Big Fish Beer on repeat. I think it got to the eighth time. The eighth time. I think this is like one of the first times I like properly met Bobble.
Yeah,
I didn't really know this one. I just swiped the guitar off him.
Yeah, was that
Some of us
the
are trying to
night where
fucking sleep.
was that the night where behind the bar it was like £3 for a pint of snake bite or
That's
£1
it.
for like a pill?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Right.
And yeah, because I got smashed and convinced. Well, I say convinced. I basically decided it'd be a good idea for us to do something, and so went and woke everyone else up. And Danny really angrily came storming out of the room and unfortunately trod on Collie's head.
Yes. Yes.
She was pissed
She
off.
was very, very annoyed.
I have 2 strong memories of that evening. So if I remember correctly, I don't think me and Danny slept that night because Cecile was there. If anyone doesn't know, Cecile was a French promoter that used to
Yes. Yeah, she was based in London though, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was,
She
but
was
she's come out
lovely.
and she was like band mummed both us and Faintest. So I've been really ill on that tour. You're gonna have to bleep a lot of this out. So Cecile came to that gig in Bolton and she was like, Jake, you have been feeling ill. So this is for the throat with some lemon tea. She's like, this is for the brains. This is a bag of and is for the sleep and is to keep you awake because we are partying.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah. So I didn't sleep that night and I stayed up getting Danny very, very, very drunk.
Yeah.
My other memory of that night is there was some random lass there who had been definitely taking advantage of the pills behind the bar. He just came up to me and went, you ever get so high you just need to sort yourself out? And I was like, and she was like, oh, don't worry, it didn't mean you. She's like, I did it on the wall over there. And I was like, that's a police station. Are you saying that you just masturbated on a police station wall? And she was like, oh yeah. It was that night was one of the most debaucherous evenings.
See that tour, I don't even think I was drinking then. I think because Collie and I were the tea drinkers.
You were having your year off booze.
Yeah.
I'm still in contact with Connie.
But
and most of the junk, and I've got so much respect for her because she was a couple of years younger than us. So
she
was
put
19
up
when
with
she was in the band.
so much shit from you guys.
Dude, she was doing her dissertation like in the back of the van on tour, like in Europe. Like you've been in that van. It's literally me, Lee, and Skinner just like throwing shit at you, going, Connie, what are you doing? She's like, calculus as it happens. On the rare occasion the junk gets back for the show, Connie's always there. You know, like you've got the backup. Like,
backup guy, bobbling on.
Damn straight.
There's a sticker of that now, isn't there?
But bubbling all the bands.
Yeah,
I've not seen that.
I'm sure there is.
My doing that, which makes that even better. That's incredible.
Seriously, I'm sure I saw it online.
Yeah.
I will have to have a dig and see if I can find it. But yeah, it was like a guitar case, and on the guitar head thing, it was black and white, but it just said bobbling all the bands, and it was your face just like. I think it should be a new Pookout shirt, which is bobbling all the bands.
Fuck yes.
I think it should be something, you know, written into all the paperwork. You don't put anything out unless
Bobble's at least contributed one part.
Yeah.
In the album.
So little Dan, for where he works, he has like an app on his phone for making like invoices. And when we had a couple of shows of the JB conspiracy a few years back, little Dan would like write them out invoices for having me on stage.
For having you on.
Like emailing it over to
How
him.
much is 5 minutes of bubble worth on an invoice?
I'm not sure. I think he was taking quite a hefty cut. I don't think I saw much of it.
If anything, Jake, you keep your eye on the post, mate, because you'll probably get something come through. Little Dan.
I still haven't replied to the invoice from the label to accept our money.
Seriously, I couldn't believe it. Like, so, for those listening, like, Katie gets fucking well on top of it. Like, I'm literally just like, this band's amazing, put stuff out. She does everything else pretty much. But, yeah, the freaking, we've sent invoices to you guys, Andy B, the others, nothing. Nor sausage. We were like, right.
You know, it's like none of us
we'll keep it then.
Used to working with a label that actually pays us on time, so we're like, it's like Star was like, it's a trap.
Hilarious, but yeah, that was hilarious. That fucking snooker night. That was
that the dance off tour? Was that
yeah, maybe because that was up at Leeds at the dry dock.
That was at the dry dock in Leeds. So for anyone that doesn't, I don't know if it's still there, but the dry dock was a boat that was in a basically just randomly placed on a roundabout in Leeds that was also a bar and a venue, and Beat the Red Light and the Junk Friendless Idea had a dance off, which I believe is still it's on one of your tour videos.
Yeah, there's a tour video of us
serving
you.
Already tonight, a member of Beat the Red Light and a member of the Junk have been beaten in a dance contest in the car park. If anyone thinks they can bring it, they're welcome to at the end. We have our fat man, you can bring yours, he will beat you.
Yeah, because you guys actually had choreographed.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, these guys are like goofing around on stage. There's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. And yeah, Christ, man, some of the moves that you and little Dan pulled out.
So we used to have entire band practices where we would play for like 15 minutes and then spend 3 hours watching the Shake a Tail Feather song from Blues Brothers just on repeat for like 3 hours, just learning all of the dance moves.
learning all the choreography.
That's it, man. Yeah, no half measures.
How do you feel about getting served? Did you get served? Oh, wait, I've never been served in my life, bitch.
Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big fish, little fish, couple box, house, chimney, smoke. Chopping on the Mars, Simpson, massive bollocks, monster, the rat, the monkey, the beat, the bone, the leaf, the bar.
Okay, right. So like we've had this conversation like in the house together, like I loved you guys, but when you started out, you were fucking terrible, and that's why.
What, Fate's idea?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, you are now one of my favorite bands. Like, you guys fucking, you did it. But I think the reason that you were a bit sloppy back in the day was because you weren't practicing music. You were practicing dance moves.
Yeah, but we won all of the dance-offs. So
It's
the most
you know,
important
that's-
thing.
I think one of the very first times that I played with Faintest was when you guys kidnapped me after playing in Wickham,
Yeah.
and you chauffeured me all the way up to Wales. What was
Yeah.
it, Swansea? Oh mate, that was
Colwyn
so
Bay? It
funny.
was always like Colwyn
No,
Bay.
it wasn't Colwyn Bay. Colwyn Bay was the very first time we met Faintest, but me actually playing in Faintest idea, because I remember I had the droopy trombone slide because I broke it on the gig before. That you guys kidnapped me, threw me in the van, and I was like, "But I've got stuff planned this weekend." You were like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
not
just
anymore,
not-
mate.
that's just not gonna happen."
I think that was Swansea.
What are my thoughts on Faintest idea? Well, considering I'm in their van, being driven, I better say something positive, otherwise they're going to butt fuck me in a field.
In the van and the drive up, you taught me the horn lines.
Yeah.
And then, oh mate, that was so. But I remember you were also like learning the horn lines is irrelevant. You've got to get dance lines down. I was just like, what? Like seriously, you're going to don't make me do this.
So we mentioned Colwyn Bay. That was another one that always got quite messy. If you played Colwyn Bay or the Dudley Arms in real, you were in for like. So I remember like there was a house in Colwyn Bay, and I think you were both there. They've been quite like.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think they've done like an all-dayer in Colwyn Bay. But all I do remember is getting to a point where I was like, I need to sleep. So I was like, right, I'm gonna find I found myself this nice little safe space behind the sofa.
Yeah.
Like a little lamp, and I was like, yeah, this is me, little sleeping bag. And I woke up and Perry was pissing on me. He had no idea it was me or that he was pissing, to be honest. It was just that kind of like fag in the mouth, kind of blood out the nose, like and obviously I shouted at him and I was like, Perry, what the fuck are you doing? And it was just one of those things. He just kind of looked at me and went, "Go back to bed, mum." I was like, what?
Oh mate, unbelievable. No, I think we like BTRL only played Colwyn Bay once, I think, but that was with Revenge and the first time we ever met Faintest.
That gig, like genuinely, it was so seeing you guys for the first time was just insane. Yeah,
It was so funny, like looking back to it. Like I remember there was the TNS guys, they did like a little kind of podcast, video cast thing.
Yeah.
And they were talking about that show. And it's so weird to see what other people remember, because other bits of it I do remember. I remember there was like bugger all people there. We're basically this is the great thing about being in a ska band though. You even if you just play to the other bands, there's so many other people in those bands. It's already sold out. So
yeah.
You just swap merch at the end and jobs are good.
Yeah. Like, nobody makes any money or like
but loads of friends.
You have a wealth of fun memories and good friends.
What do you think was the worst show you guys have ever played?
France with Faintest Idea. Paris with Faintest Idea. It's the only fucking show on tour that Jackie Player booked, and I will never forgive him.
What's this? Was this with the junk? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was this the junk and Faintest Idea on a tour together?
Yeah.
Well, so it was the last night of the junk tour and the first night of the Faintest Idea
That's
tour.
right, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd been on the road with the junk, and then we had this like gig booked together,
So
which
we
was
could
like
do the handover.
Oh, I did passing of the torch.
Which by the way, was a constant game. So whenever we did the same festival or the same lineup, or we did handover, the game was whoever had Bobble first had to give him back in the most impossibly terrible state ever. I have a memory of Daniel Rascal just walking up to me at Strummer Camp with like Bobble just in his arms, unconscious, going, "Here he is!" Like,
Your trombone player.
The Paris show. The Paris show was like, it was a squat in the middle of Paris, and we got there, and like we like doing like there are good squat shows and there are bad squat shows, and like it's a bad squat show when you get to the squat and you're like, that can't even be a squat, like that's a fucking building.
Yeah, where's the toilet? It's a hole in the floor, and
mate, like there's just heroin needles everywhere, like fucking like. So the guys they kind of obviously forgot we were coming.
Well, no, the promoter was in hospital.
That was it. Yeah, he was involved in a car accident, which later turned out to be French for heroin overdose. So yeah, we got in. The sound engineer was definitely high as fuck, and had lost his dog. So I ended up doing all the sound checks and doing all the sound. And I think we went on first. Is that right? Did you play first, or did we get? Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, no, because Faintest didn't get to play.
That's right. So we sound checked them. Faintest didn't even play.
No, because we started sound checking, and halfway through the sound check, someone came through and just turned off the mains electricity and just shut everything down because it was too noisy. And they were like, "Yeah, there wasn't meant to be a show, so people trying to sleep, it's too noisy."
So we got to play because we're going on first. So eventually, like we had the conversation. But the police got phoned while we were playing. So then we were like, so we got cut short, and it was our last night of tour. So we were like, fair enough, fuck this. So we go back to like the dressing room, which is like obviously not a dressing room, it's just like a hole in a wall. I think most of our phones have been nicked, like, and we're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So we decided that because the original plan was to stay out and get hammered with the Faintest boys, and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna book an early ferry. We get in the van, and we're driving towards like the Arc, the massive roundabout, and you can see it's like a mile off, and there's just this red haze over it, and I'm like, it looks like it's on fire, and I was like to our driver, I was like, we're going there, aren't we? He was like, yeah. So we get there, and it turns out there were two rival football teams like that had been like firms that were fighting. There was also a right-wing fascist march that day and an Antifa, and they'd all just met at around 3:00 in the morning at the Arc. And I've got videos of it, man. Like there were people just like setting off flares and fucking smashing in windows, and we were just all of us just sitting in the van, just going, "This is the best gig ever."
So we had a show on the last Faintest Euro tour where we came into town and the town was super quiet. I think it was either a bank holiday or like the day after a bank holiday or something like this. There was something happening. And yeah, we set up, the place was dead. Like the promoter was just like, we'll see who turns up. We're not sure, we're hoping there are lots of other things going on. And we ended up playing to 3 old men who were all in their 50s, who all sat like in chairs, just like 3 foot from the stage. At one point, we paused the gig because a guy wanted to go get a beer, and so he stood up, and that was half the audience gone. So we were like, we'll just wait for him to come back.
Wait for it to... Oh my god!
Like, I'm just getting a drink. Can you like hold off for a second? We're like, yeah.
The most accommodating band in the world.
The gigs that you play really, really well has a phenomenal turnout. Like, you know what? You kind of like, yeah, of course you remember them, but you never remember them as much as the like, one of my all-time favorite shows was pre-BTRL, and it would have been pre the Junk TV party. So that was Eddie G and I from BTRL. We were in a hardcore band. Yeah. And then we went on tour with Grogan, which was Jonna, Lee, and
Yeah.
Buzz, and we went and played. It was somewhere on the coast, and we played this camping site, and it was meant to be with the Kooks, and I think the best band turned up. It was a tribute band, a hot chocolate, Scottish hot chocolate tribute band called Scott Chocolate. Right, we played. I kid you not, to 5 guys and 1 guy dressed as a pink elephant in the middle of this field. Oh my god! And it was actually and 3 out of the 5 guys were Grogan, just butt naked, just completely in the birthday suit. Because that was at that time where we were just running around naked.
Lee was obsessed with being naked, still is.
Oh, yeah.
Lee was in Grogan the Junk and is now married to my little sister. But yeah, like, dude, like he used to run a naked cleaning company.
He what?
Did you not know this?
No.
Lee used to have a business where he would go and fucking clean old people's houses in the Nod with a little feather duster. And yeah.
How long did he do that for?
It was when he was in. I mean, it was before I met him, so it was when he was doing. It was around the time he would have been doing that tour, mate. He would wear nothing but a leopard print thong, and I swear to fuck, man. I swear to fuck, he would raise his drum stool. So if I turned around, I struggle with double time. If that makes sense. Like, so if there's a vocal part at the start of double time, I want to see his hi-hat hand, so I come in on the right beat.
Yeah,
and he knows that I struggle with this, so he'd always be like, "Wait," just so I could see these leopard print balls bouncing up and down. He's like, he's the only member of the Junk that I've ever literally punched. Like, I love him so much. I'm so. Oh no, okay. I punched both of the Alberts. You both fucking deserved it. All right.
Okay, so you've lamped Bobble. Has little Dan charged you for that as well? For punching back.
That's why I've got management now.
In my defence, it was an entire month tour of Lee. And once again, he's the happiest guy in the fucking world. And he had an app on his phone where he could record like 30-second loops of like a beat, and he'd rap at you. And I hadn't slept in a month. Do you know what I mean? Because I like not only did I book those tours, but I basically managed them as well. And Lee would just be having it like with his phone in my face, like, "Have you ever done a poo in a biscuit tin? You know, doing a bit." And that was all it did. And he just fucking hour. And eventually I was like, "Dude, I fucking love you. I love you so much. I don't want to hurt you, but I need to sleep. And if you don't leave, I'm gonna punch you." And he looked at me with this, like, he was like, "Jake, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I get it, man. I'm being a dick. Have you ever done a poo in a biscuit?" Ah! Do you guys remember a band from Belgium called Overweight?
Overweight? Okay. No, I remember Weight Loss. Overweight.
Weight Loss was sick, so man. Good. Okay, so Overweight were our first ever Europe tour. We got in contact with a band from Belgium. There's 2 brothers in the band, right? So whenever we play Belgium, obviously Belgium's quite small, and they lived just outside Leuven. So we'd all they lived with their parents, but they had a recording studio in the backyard. There was a swimming pool, and the 2 brothers with the boomers, their parents were amazing, would just cook us barbecue and just deal with us being idiots. But the 2 brothers used to play a game on tour called Hide the Poo. Guess how you play that, right?
Right.
So this has been going on for years, and I might be paraphrasing over, but this is how I remember it. I remember basically one of them had a special butter.
A special what?
Yeah, a special butter. Like, maybe it was vegan butter or something.
Right, okay.
It was his fucking butter. You know,
right.
This is years of, like, you wake up, there's a shit in your shoe, or like, fucking in your sock, or in, like... But we're staying at their house, so, like, I think one of them, I think it was Kevin or not, but he goes to the fridge and he starts slicing his toast, and he's just like, "Oh, you've gone too fucking far, man. You've gone too far." And what he's done is he's taken the butter and he's melted it down, taken a poo, and then reset.
Put the butter around the poo.
Yeah. So
and then put it in the fridge so it's solidified.
Yeah. I mean, like, that is just dedication to the cause. And at that point as well, like you remember stories like that. I'm like, he wasn't that fucking bad, man. I love the boy.
Dedication to defecation.
New album title. New album title. Dedication to defecation.
Pookout Records side project
Starts here.
formed right now.
That's it.
Dedication to defecation.
And then as a bonus track, we can have Lee's Have You Ever Pooed in a Biscuit Tin? Just on a loop.
The remix.
Yeah.
Most of
Maybe,
these drinks
maybe
are
longer than the actual album.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, bobbling all the bands.
Is there any way we can put a link to that exact video, the bobbling of the band? Because I swear, like that's nearly gone viral at this point. Even people that don't know who you are have seen that video.
Was that
That's
which one? Which one was that for? Was that for Almeida?
That
It
was
was
my
Almeida.
audition video for Almeida. Yeah.
And then it kicked off. Bobbling on
Yeah.
This is my bass audition for Almeida. Let's do this. So yeah, let me know what you think. And that's not all. With Bobble in your band, you will witness sweet acrobatic skills. Vegan pies. Oh yeah. Knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons and funny-sided dice. So come on, Almeida. You know that you need me in your band. Bobble in all the bands!
The Ninja Roll is literally the best thing that the internet has ever seen.
Yeah. Do you know what? You say that, we keep going back to him, but Lee's drum tuition video.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
right,
got
so
taken down though.
he sent us a private link. So obviously, like, no, Lee, he became a teacher. He's doing the entire self-help book thing, which apparently is doing really well.
Have you not read it? Have you read it?
No.
Mate, I've read it. It's brilliant.
Apparently, everyone's really good. Like, it's really weird. Like, I'm gonna read it. I am gonna read it, but it's one of those things, like, because I know and love Lee, like the way that I do. I imagine this book to be amazing, but you know, just from the way he managed the drunk with me. But like, there's also a little bit of me. This is like, I can't take advice from Lee. And I know,
No.
I know the book's gonna be good, and I'm gonna be wrong, and I'm not ready to lose.
Lee is phenomenal. I'd love to get him up on this because, like, that book was brilliant. Like, I genuinely thought it was brilliant.
Which I'm listening, I believe, is called was it?
Do Shit, Get Shit Done.
Do Shit, Get Shit Done. Yeah. Which is on Amazon and all the other places that you can get books. Because you're kind of hosting, like, you're asking us the question, but like, what's your worst gig that you can remember? What's like your most debaucherous or worst gig that you can remember?
Okay.
Like, I've got some fun memories of Beat the Red Light. I wanted to see if any of them are in there.
For me, do you know what? I think it's amazing in some ways how I've never got kicked out of the Filaments. When I first started, right, I was like a little excitable puppy. Oh my god, this is amazing! Like, I'm in the Filaments. Oh my god, this is so fucking good. Because like they were like one of my favorite UK ska punk bands. It was so new to me playing shows where there was just like staying overnight and there was like a lot of alcohol. I don't know what it is, but I think when I drink, I get to like 3 or 4 pints. Or actually, no, we'll go less than that. Let's be honest, like 2 or 3 pints, and then I'm like, I've got the taste for it. I'm all the beers, like, these are lovely, blah, 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 blah. Especially when you go abroad. So this one that I remember, you can find it on YouTube and it is atrocious. I'm absolutely hammered. It's in a squat, a bit like the squat that you were talking about earlier, Jake, which it was just like wipe your feet on your way out kind of thing. There's no toilet. There's a hole in the floor. I am absolutely hammered. Right, I've got one trombone mic, which is louder than the whole entire. I'm playing like fucking. I'm so drunk. I don't even know what a trombone is, and I'm trying to play stuff and just epically failing. The only way I could describe it is imagine a band playing, but it's accompanied by a wounded bumblebee. And
ow, that actually hurt.
Dedicate this song to the guy in a Famous Idea t-shirt.
This geezer, what's a geezer?
This one goes out to you, my friend.
Trombone, proper geezer. Let's fucking have it, Lord.
And occasionally, like I was trying to do gang vocals or vocals with jobs. I'm like, oh fucking like. Although my execution was about 15% on, my enthusiasm was 150%. So I was singing all of John's lines louder than John, out of key. There's one bit. What song was it? Signing Up to Sin, and he does 666, but I did a death growl 666. I probably like look at John like I'm nailing this. But not only this, I'm there like this is like a song where there's no horn. So I've got a beer in one hand. I'm smoking like a chimney on stage because this woman at the front keeps handing me up fags. I'm like, fuck it. At the end of the gig, we had a chat the next day. And he went, "How do you think that gig went?" Then Pook, I was like, "Yeah, wasn't my finest hour, was it?" And he just went, "Nah. Just think next time, just less death, more geezer." So I kept dropping like these Sepultura death metal growls in like the middle of like Trevor, like this Oi song. It was just
That's such a good Filaments headline as well. Less death, more geezer.
Yeah, less death, more geezer. But he, that was his exact words. The video, the whole show got uploaded onto YouTube, so you could watch it. And I think I managed to get through about 3 or 4 songs. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. It was just like,
We played a gig in a town called Hof in Germany. And
Hof Rock City? Fucking love Hof.
Oh no.
I know
we didn't have a good.
Yeah.
We turned up. We were running a little bit late, as is the faintest idea charm. And we got there and we were driving around. It was this like massive like business estate, basically, like sky rises everywhere, all of them.
Yeah.
And basically it turned the venue had been like raided by the police and shut down the week before, so they had to like set up somewhere new. And so we like weaving our way around, finally find the place and like start unloading, and we unload like down the stairs, which is always a good sign, into what used to be the kitchen area that used to like cook all the food for the canteen, like in the office. So we were just in this massive room covered in tiles, just this tiny underground tiled room. All of the electricity for this came out of one plug that was like daisy chained through plugs into like a room, like 3 or 4 rooms across. Yeah, we started playing, and again, you know, it's this crazy room. Like Danny hits his sample pedal to start off circling the drain, and it blows with the electric, because of course we're off like a daisy chain thing. So we're then trying to figure out what we can do to start again, and there's like this massive light set up like shining at us. We're like, can we unplug the light, because we don't need that. And the guy's like, oh, but I've got my camera, I want to film the set. Like, there's not gonna be a set. So eventually we managed to like, yeah, get it all unplugged, and we end up playing in this like underground tiled basement, just all the sound echoing off of everything.
Oh, mate, the
like,
acoustics were banging.
Oh, it was horrific. Like, we played to 5 people, one of whom was the promoter who spent the whole thing like filming us on a camera. We like smashed through the set. The video is online, and it looks like a hostage video, because we're in this like tiny room. None of us are having any fun. So we like smashed through the set. It's Germany, everyone's like chain smoking and stuff, so we're in this like tiny, like smoky, loud room. We get to the end of the set, and I have to like throw my trombone down, like push my way past, you know, the 4 people that are there, and like run to the outside to throw up, because I've got this like huge migraine going on from the noise and the smoke and everything. I'm having a shit time, and I'm sat like on the back of the van, like I was like head between my knees, like having just thrown up. The promoter guy comes along and sits down next to me and goes, oh, I had a look at your set list and you didn't play all the songs. Are you going to go back out there and finish it?
Oh,
That's like, I'm dying. I'm literally dying.
Like, don't make me do that.
But yeah, so I think that beats just playing to three old German men who sat down.
After you guys did that show, I did a solo show in North, I think about a month later.
Right.
And like, obviously, like, if they know that we know each other, and the guy's like, do you know Fitness Idea? And I was like, yeah, they're really good friends of mine. He was like, please tell them I am so sorry. Like, I'm not going to say his name on the podcast, but afterwards I'll check with you. I think it's the same guy.
Apology.
Amazing.
It's just like,
bygones be bygones.
Oh, am I moving? Can you guys see me move?
No, you're frozen, mate.
oh, you're frozen.
What is going on? IT! IT tech support!
Right, we're going to get some beer while you sort your shit out.
It took a photo, and now I'm just looking at them permanently disgusted. Wait a minute.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, shit, son.
Does the theme tune to this not have to be your Ragga rap from your boiler fixing days?
Oh, mate. Dude. Right, okay. I've extended it.
Oh!
And only recently. Right, okay.
I'm so excited.
Right, wait a minute. Okay.
I'm very aroused.
Gas Ragga. Right, okay. I need a dance hall beat.
Like
Someone's got to hit me with a. Minute very pleased to be Jambi came along to fix the gas heater. Holy moly, there's no pressure in the meter. Turn up the bass and we turn up the tweeter. Me work for Oyster, the heating booster system, combi, whatever you choose. Squatty car, don't make me laugh, but you cry like a baby for a hot water bath. Pressure keeps dropping, nuts keep tightening, blood price far. Lane needs flushing, temperature up, radiators hard. Gas Ragga don't stop, here come the drop.
I mean, that was
That's
beautiful.
the greatest thing.
That's as far as I've got.
I mean, I want to say you don't need to go any further, but just for my own
I
joy,
think-
you do.
I never want it to end.
Yeah.
I've got to try and find this video. This absolutely. It was on the Beat the Red Light thing at Boomtown, and it was.
Oh,
I
Is
think
that the wall of brass?
no.
Oh, was that when I did
Yeah.
Regulators with you? You got a video of that?
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I was so
there's a
drunk. Did I
video of
fuck it?
2, 3, all the best!
Beautiful fucking eight.
For that song, you had me doing vocals with you.
Yeah.
You had Hannah from Stand Out Riot. You had like the horns.
There was we played this like a 15-piece.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
good, man.
It was so good.
That was the playing in that brass section broke the P-bone I was using at that point.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
P-bone, yeah, man. That P-bone had
Those are
survived
great,
like
man.
They really are. The issue I had with it is because the whole thing is like they're meant to be indestructible. I didn't take that as being like, oh, if I take care of this, it will last me forever. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking test that.
Right.
So like when we did the Russia tour, like it was not in a case or anything like that. It was just like had like clothes packed around. It like worked. It was good for that tour.
It's like when Samsung said your phone's waterproof.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
though? Is it?
And then but now on stage you Beat the Red Light, got halfway through a song, went to bring my slide back in, and like the inner
The glue.
tube had just fucking exploded, like just sharded. I was
Really?
like, oh, well, that's the end of this trombone, and so then I watched the rest of the set, and it was great.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you so with the P bows, because I've always, my honest opinion, I've always loved them.
Yeah.
A little bit duller than the brass.
Yeah.
And they were a little bit too light. So I did one gig. I did one gig with the Filaments. It was the album launch at the Underworld, sold out, right? But I snapped it clean in half. The song which was after when I snapped it was Bastard Coppers, right? We were playing with Knuckle Dust. And yeah. So that yeah. So blessed, some of the guys of Knuckle Dust were there trying to take my trombone together.
That's not a band that has a trombone in it.
I fucking they're all there like, yeah, I'll be your trombone tech, mate. Don't you worry. And I take it away, getting all the duct tape, and I tape it, trying to piece this thing together, right? Bastard Coppers starts, for those of you who don't know, with like a like tabs with a horn line.
Yeah.
There's no horn to play at this point because they're too busy trying to stick it with duct tape. So it was just like, bum. So to cover the silent bit, I just grabbed the mic and just went, oh my god! And throughout the whole song,
you know it.
Yeah,
I can imagine you do that with the Brucey. I'm back in Britain now.
Throughout the whole fucking song, the horn like ba ba da ba 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 ba, and I'm going. On. This poor guy, I'm like, he probably thinks I'm sabotaging the band from the inside. But he's there trying to, like, his guitar leads, Jack isn't long enough, but he's there trying to kick my ass because I'm fucking ruining this whole song. Again, absolutely, like, sauce, like a well-oiled engine. So after that, I told Jess what had happened, and bless her, she actually messaged Peebo to say, like, you said it was indestructible. And look at what's happened. Like, and they managed to actually source me a free trombone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which was pretty awesome. But so and that one's lasted. So you missed the trick there, mate. You missed the trick. But
I'll have to
speak to your management.
Yeah,
reach a little Dan. Get little Dan to write them an invoice, mate. That's what you want. But so I went on tour with Lightyear doing a Real Big Fish tour. And again, it's like a repeat thing. I'm just not learning from my mistakes. Too drunk, muller my trombone on the first gig because I'm just too wrecked. To be fair, we didn't think the gig was going to happen because someone in the crowd OD'd and an ambulance came in. Yeah, it was pretty gnarly just before we were about to go on. So we were like, shit, gig's not going to happen. Let's get drunk. And then they were like, oh no, he's okay. Right, gig's back on. We were like, oh shit. So anyway, that show, I had my brass trombone, but I mullered it. I mullered the slide, so I couldn't use it. Luckily, that show was Oxford, and where I live is like 45 minutes away and en route to the next show. So we went and picked up my P-bone, and I was like, oh, this trombone will be great, like Sandovan. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty much indestructible. Lightyear is not the band that you want to say that your trombone is indestructible.
Chaz will prove you wrong.
Well, do you know what? No. Chaz didn't.
On that tour as well, right?
Yeah. Chaz didn't prove me wrong, but he attempted to prove me wrong. There was parts where, so there was one part in the song where we all swap instruments, and Chaz. It took me 5 gigs to clock this because I'm quite slow with stuff like this. He was like, Pook, you and I will swap. I'll play trombone and you take the vocals. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me tell you as far as what Chaz does when it comes to playing trombone. Chaz will take the trombone apart and throw both parts into the audience. What? And then you're just like, well, I can't do it. Well, I could do my vocals. Then the next song's up and I'm like, well, I don't have a trombone. And then gradually, bit by bit, this trombone gets thrown back on stage. And this was, I think, the worst one was Manchester Academy, where I was like, the trombone got thrown back at me, but then there was no mouthpiece. And then the mouthpiece, the mouthpiece came flying on stage and it hit the bass drum mic. And you just heard this. It sounded like a dubstep drop. Honestly, like that trombone, indestructible.
I have a fun Chaz story for you if you'd like it.
Oh mate, everyone's got a fun Chaz story.
Well, I mean, okay, so no, I have ska punk ones, but like also like myself, like Chaz does solo stuff as well. 2 years ago, I was doing so if you do 2,000 Trees, basically like you also do like a busking slot as well. So throughout the campsites they have these stages set up and like people like nobody sleeps at 2,000 Trees. It's fucking wonderful. So my solo set is just after Crazy Arm Acoustic, so on the same stage. It was a fucking hard act to follow. And it clashes.
Phenomenal band.
Cause I'm a king without a castle, and you're a queen, and I'm an arsehole. You're an arsehole. I'm a king without a castle, and you're a.
So I'm like 3 songs in, and I just hear a crowd of people going, Chaz, 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 Chaz. And Chaz has taken his set off his stage and formed a human conga line where basically, rather than playing his own solo set, he's gone around to every other fucking set like that's happening and just jumps up and does one song with you. But he doesn't know any of your songs, and you know what he's going to do. So he did it with like me, Oxygen Thief, everyone. So like the people that went to see Chaz, he was like, we're going on a magical journey around 2,000 trees. And then just from the background, it's like a fucking like Vikings war chant. It's like Chaz, 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 and you're like, here we go.
It's a bit like that scene in Lord of the Rings where everyone comes over the mountain top and into the valley, and it's Chaz, like Chaz, Chaz.
It is nuts. Like I don't know. Me and Danny have these conversations all the time about how like. Again, as I think we didn't start out good. Like we.
Oh yeah, you started out terrible
and just refused to go anywhere.
I'm glad we can talk about this now because you have got so good.
Yeah, and again, it was that thing of like that. I don't know when it happened, but there was a moment where we stopped just being the band that moved around loads, and so people got excited to see, and became the band that moved around loads and people got excited to see, and actually we had some half decent tunes. We got to do Japan a couple of years ago, man.
Dude, I want to talk to you about that because obviously you spotted Subliminal Ripple. There's so many good bands in Japan.
Yeah, so many cool moments of it. But like, I think the excitement I feel towards music now compared to the excitement I felt when I was like a teenager, like it's become a bit more normalized. Like I'm a bit more used to it. Having that to just reignite everything and be like, oh fuck, this is incredible. This is insane. And again, every single show in Japan, like the crowd was not only big for every band, but the crowd was like having it and like going, like having just the best time and dancing and singing along.
Really?
For every single band on the bill at every single gig.
I'm a ball in a China shop, but every time I knock you down, beat it back up. I'm a ball in a China shop. I'm just a waiting, but I come to shop. Let's go! People don't know the story. You expect that they go and write
Like it was incredible. We had a show in Tokyo as well, and this was like, again, the idea of this happening at a UK gig is insane. But like, so we had to get there early and do the sound check and stuff. But before anyone did any sound checking, they got like every band that was playing that night, all of the promoters, all of like the people that were working bar, like all the security, like everyone involved in making the show happen. Like, and we all came down to the room and they went round, they like, everyone introduced themselves, everyone like had a little round of applause and like people were bowing and stuff. And it was just this thing of like,
really
this is a
cool.
community. Like, and it was so cool. Just this idea of like, everyone gets, you know, recognition for what they're doing.
100%.
Again, it's amazing being the people up on stage, like jumping around and dancing. But if there weren't people staffing the bar or there weren't people like checking tickets or stuff, like, and just that acknowledgement of like, oh, actually we're doing this really cool thing together. And like, we are a community. We're all like,
yeah.
ways. Like it was incredible, man. Like I had the best time in Japan. Getting out there with Redeeming is going to be incredible. And like,
oh mate, again, I cannot freaking wait.
That Colwyn Bay Beat the Red Light show is genuinely one of the best gigs I've ever been to, just in terms of like you guys coming out and me just standing there being like, what the fuck is this? This is incredible. Like,
yeah.
So, and again, it was similar the first time I saw Redeem.
It was weird because
about
it's
the music you write and the way you guys play. It's just. Oh.
I think for me, it was like with the BTRL thing. That was our first tour, and it was something so. It was so fresh and new.
Yeah.
And for me, it was less about execution and it was more about the energy.
Yeah.
Like I literally wanted you to choke on it.
I broke my ankle at BTRL gig on that first tour. Like,
you what?
I broke my ankle watching you guys play. Like on the first tour we did with you, there was a Manchester show, and like we played before you, and doing like so you like fair enough. Like anyone that tours enough, like you know, you like it gets to a point where you're so used to watching the other bands that you'll kind of watch them in the back and stuff. With you guys, I was like. It was so energetic. I was like, I have to be in the fucking
not
pit.
be there. Yeah.
I snapped my fucking ankle. I have weak ankles. Like I did the rest of the tour on a broken ankle because I loved you guys so much.
I didn't know that. I don't remember that. But it's weird, man, because it's like I've always thought the BTRL albums, don't get me wrong, like the reception to it's been amazing, but we've always been a live band over an album.
I totally get like I love the albums. The albums are incredible, but you guys live, like it was an experience, man. Like, and again, it's why I was so excited seeing Redeemer for the first time. Like, because again, as I say, like the Colwyn Bay gig is one of the gigs that stands out in my mind, which A,
was a
considering the
lot
amount
of
of gigs
fun.
I've been to, and B, considering the amount of alcohol I ingest at most of those gigs. I remember very few gigs, like, and I think it's
it's seeing a band for the first time. Like, I cannot wait to see you guys play.
I can't wait to play together.
Like Roshambo,
It's the only
like,
one I've seen
that's hilarious. That's brilliant. You guys haven't even been in a room.
After lockdown 2, when pubs were open again, like probably been over a couple of barbecues before I lived with him. We got talking about, obviously we did the drunk together, and we've all talked together. And I was like, do you know what? Like, I was like, like, I'm enjoying doing solo stuff, but I was like, I fucking miss doing ska punk. I really fucking miss it, man.
There's something about it.
And I was like, I think now I've got the time, and also the solo stuff is kind of paying for me to exist. I was like, I'm gonna start writing again. And Bobble's response was just the best ever. He was like, you live in Norwich. If you form a ska punk band without me in it, I will be in it, and you won't know. You'll turn up for your first gig, and I'll just fucking be there, and I'll know the parts. So you might as well just fucking start doing it with me now.
Have my contacts.
I had the inkling to do it, and Bobble kind of fueled the fire.
It's just
so like our main problem was a drummer. Like, obviously, so we have Tom.
Like gold dust.
Dude, like, so Tom did Blag, and he did 64 Stitches, which locally I know really well. And if you're really geeky about your ska punk, you know Blag as well. Tom's a fucking genius. So we're really lucky. I was like, I'm going to reach out to Tom, because I used to be in Nelson County Steppers with him. And he was like, fuck yeah. So we had Tom at the time. I think Danny from
I think we started talking to Danny, but then we got in Sean instead, who again also Nelson County Steppers.
Yeah. Oh, and also again, if you haven't heard it, where's Babylon, man? Like his other band, like where's like Sean will tell you he can't play guitar or sing. Everyone in Roshambo is much more talented than me. It's amazing.
Yeah. You know how to run shit, Jake. You know how to run shit.
And then, we were looking around for drummers, and I thought
Pete
he's been a staple in the North.
Oh, he's
Pete
just
like everyone in Roshambo.
Biggest sweetheart.
Yeah, and they're all people that like we've like gigged together, or I know through gigs and stuff, but I've never been like involved in an actual project with. And so again, reached out to Pete, seeing if he'd be up for it. And again, he was like really like excited.
This is your mind, legends of it all be consumed, but these for walls, hoping that you like the view. Might be ready, but the world's not ready for you. How's it gonna look when the streets are shut black? Poison in the world doesn't look like they're coming back. Gotta look the same in a space to react. Looking lost on the cross, but I don't feel trapped.
Everything can stop still when you're locked in. Many got ill, think I've not been really coaching. Dropped in, a trepidation status like a fade away inside the spacious cage. And now I'm doing nothing but my fat inside my hands are tied.
With Roshambo, like everybody is so involved and so on their shit.
It's
and
really
also,
exciting.
Dude, like just our WhatsApp chat is the most.
What I
beautiful
love
thing
is
in the world.
it's a freaking all-star. Yeah, it's really nice until you all get in that same room and you go on tour, and then you'll really get to know who loves Bruce Forsyth and who doesn't.
Okay, you've toured with me as well, so I'm a huge fan of the Accountabilibuddy scheme.
The Accountabilibuddy?
The Accountabilibuddy. So everyone in the junk had an Accountabilibuddy. Like, so you pick the person that has the closest personality to you, and if they fuck up, it's your job to go fucking get them. Like,
and sort them out.
So Moth was my Accountabilibuddy. That was fucking hard.
Still junk.
How did you sleep last night?
Badly.
Where were you sleeping?
In the back of a minibus on an acoustic guitar.
So in Roshambo, me and Bob would have done multiple tours together. Bobble, we live together. Like, so he's my accountability buddy.
I'm terribly sorry in advance.
I'll fucking race you. So there's a guy on YouTube called Roshambo, who, as far as I can tell, just smokes spice and crack every day. And literally, like, he can barely fucking hold his guitar. He's like, and he's been going for years. So YouTube removes offensive comments, but I still get to see them. So
Right.
I got like 5 comments in a row, like that were deleted, so I had to go back into count and get them. And it was literally, the first one was like, "Hey man, Roshambo's taken. Fucking change your name, assholes." And then the next one was like, "Smoke spice, hell Satan." Like, so I've started following this guy because he's my new fucking hero. I haven't responded in any way.
Get him involved.
Like,
Get him on the next track.
I'm just thinking, like, seriously, like, maybe we can get a third guitarist. It's all been like, so, like, we haven't been in the same room. Everything's going really fucking well. Like, we thought, like, we have the idea of forming a band. Like, we get the best members. You could, like, we got Joe Fenn from fucking JB Conspiracy. That's insane.
Oh mate,
Like,
it's
we've got,
it's
like,
an
people ducking
all-star
punches,
band.
like, it's amazing. So everything's going so well. The first downfall is a Spice Addicts from it's really like, oh no.
You can read actually in Sarah Williams's newly published Papercuts Volume 2, My Relationship with Spice. You know,
Have you actually written something about it?
I know that story.
So if you want to hear the story about Faintest Ideas' experience with Spice a few years back, then you'll have to go pick a copy of that up. It's a brilliant book as well.
It's weird now. It's really lovely to see like people venturing out into literature from music.
Yeah. We all met in our very early to mid 20s, and we were just like
late teens for some of us, Jake.
Fuck.
Did you never see it? So when Pook used to play with us, sorry, I'll look over
It
here.
was even with Board of
like-
Justice. That's what
Yeah.
it started with.
Yeah. Board of Justice was where it began, and Pook would stand up, and we would both play, but we would like
Play
so
each
we'd
other's
blow,
slides?
but we'd like do the slide for the other person. Like Then started off with Board of Justice, and then because this is the thing, like Roshambo is the first band I have actually been involved in at the start since I was 16. Again, that's a really cool thing I found about like writing and playing with Roshambo is it's really fucking cool just being involved in something like, now we've got to kind of build this.
When Jake told me about like the whole thing and the lineup, I was just like, I don't. It was even for me, just like from hearing who was in it, I was like, I've got to I've got to be involved.
Tom, who is not on this podcast, who is my writing partner for Roshambo, who does does all the other vocals. Tom is the most involved, encouraging person. Like, no matter how fucking far I push something, Tom is like, yes, and we can do this too. And I fucking love it. I've not had that since I was.
You need, when you're writing stuff, you need someone in your fighting corner, even if they can't picture what you're seeing. I will never forget when BTRL before BTRL started. I was like, I want to do a beat down hardcore metal ska band, and everyone was like, that's not going to work. I remember one of them was Eddie. I went to my mate Mike Lee, and I sent in the Clowns. And I recorded that with just 2 trombones. I wish I still could find it somewhere. I reckon if I go up my loft and if I delved enough, I'd be able to find it.
If you find that, I need to hear that.
You're old enough to be on cassette tape as well.
Yeah. But yeah. Like everyone was like, no. I was like, okay, well, this is what I imagined. And then I played it. And I remember playing it to Eddie, and Eddie was like, all of a sudden, you could just see the cogs.
Yeah.
You know, like when you throw someone something, you're like, and they're very like, I don't know where you come from. I don't know where you come from. Then they listen to it and they're like, oh my God, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's that beautiful thing of like writing with people that again you trust, you like. Yeah, one of the first things that like Jake said to me when we started Roshambo was like, Bobble, I am not gonna rap. I'm never gonna rap. I'm not a teenager. I'm not rapping anymore. And I'm so glad that he started rapping again.
That was like
the fact we've managed to break that and be like, no, we are bringing new metal back.
I make sure that me and Bobble are drunk most nights. Bobble does have a very responsible job where he is literally helping people every single fucking day, and he will still stay awake with me every night, drinking until 4 a.m. and talking about a ska punk and writing porn lines. And then he wakes up at 9 and he gets online and he does his job. I wake up at 12, plug in guitar. I'm like, I'm doing my bit.
Obviously, if anyone from is listening, that is all a joke. I fully concentrate on everything, and also anything I've said about any drugs or anything like that throughout this.
I made a point of not mentioning.
Oh, don't worry, bro. This will all get edited out.
Can we make a three-way promise that anything that you have to edit out is edited out by a trombone noise? Just so if I'm like, I was fucked.
Katie, if you're listening to this,
I feel so sorry for Katie at this point.
Piglet, come here. Yes.
Label mum, label mum, label mum, label mum.
Listen, they're singing to you.
Fucking love you, Bones. No Bones, no Pookout.
Like, no eyebrow. Yeah, you know what I smell of?
Smell of wine sweat.
That, and I've been farting a lot. They've made me laugh that hard that I farted.
Pook, honestly, like, I don't know if I've ever loved another human being more.
That was a beautiful laugh.
The first
so
ever
serious back
Beat the Red
then.
Light junk tours were like Pook was booze free. He was
Yeah.
like, and you did it as well. However, my favourite Pook memories are the January after that fucking tour, and we did our next tour, and I got to meet drunk Pook because Pook hadn't drunk for a fucking year, and bitch fucking slewed it.
What did I do? Right, come on.
Mate, like you were just like a trombone wielding Del boy. You had no beard. You were off your fucking pickle. You were doing your first tour, like where you were drunk again. You looked like you had rickets back in the day. You were still wearing cycle shorts at gigs, which was a weird look.
It was the best bit. Like again, harking back to the first time I saw you guys, like seeing that voice come out of you is one of the best things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, same. So like, is he gonna sing?
I had
He's
a
gonna
right
go
chip
for a
on my
night.
shoulder,
He's
didn't
gonna
I?
fucking scream at me.
So, yeah.
Katie, you're from Wigan, right?
Yeah.
She's fucking mad for it.
Whenever we talk about what words are meant to be, I will not listen to a person who thinks that pea wet is a natural thing you should put on chips. It's the water off mushy peas.
Oh, you're about to get kicked off a label live on a podcast.
You guys have been fucking amazing, and I cannot thank you enough. Like, I've spoken to Andy about this as well. Like, we're all very excited because what you're doing is fucking lovely and family based. And
Yeah.
Man,
we're going to try very hard to fucking make this a thing.
Dude, to be honest, that's all we want is like every band helps the other band out.
Honestly, like I never thought that I could ever sign a band to a label that I was so much in love with. You two were the most amazing people I've ever met.
It's again harking back to that like community, that like family aspect of this scene. That's the absolute best thing.
Okay, we are honoured that you chose Roshambo for the first one because
mate.
no, we were like, like why us? And then, like,
We're about to finish the second bottle.
oh damn, son!
This has gone exactly as how I thought it would.
Pookout out.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having us.
I
Love
have
you,
had
man.
fun playing with my friends.
Roshambo.
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 Do I sound drunk? I'm so drunk. You realise you're drunk. I'm like, oh fuck.
Have you done like a sort of a semi-intro.
He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. He's done.
I haven't done it.
Nothing that says hello. He hasn't mentioned the label once, and he has not done it.
Oh, Jake's gone out for a
absolute
fuck.
bullshit, Mark. This is bollocks, Mark.
I'm going to be honest. She fucking loves me. She can't get enough of this. Well, I'm with Roshambo. This is the beginning of the podcast. Wallop.
Definitely the beginning. We're not all hammered. We're all very sober and sensitive.
Thank you very much for having us.
Let me play with my friends.
Just want to play with my friends.
But there's your fucking. I just want to play with my friends.
If you threw me in Trafalgar Square and threw peanuts at me, I would have died immediately, if not sooner. Wait a minute, wait. For clarification, I have not shat the bed. The camera isn't working.
I just want to play with my friends.
Yeah.
Offal.
Offal.
Offal, like the entrails.
So you're basically saying waffle without the W. Offal ginger.
Offal.
If this podcast ends up longer than 20 minutes, I'm going to be surprised.
Are you falling asleep on me?
No one I've got freaking tinnitus because I've got this fucking northern.
Yeah, finish that sentence, Vic.
All the band, including Mummy Daddy label, will watch this hypocrisy.
You brought this on yourself by watching how much wine he was drinking and not telling him to
however, whoa there, Pumbaa. Let's stop there.
I feel so sorry for you, Katie. I don't know if anyone else is going to get any enjoyment out of any of this, but I've had a wonderful time.